is the lovely Hannah. And it's not too hard to see why people are amazed by these animals, because I cannot tail walk like that, certainly. So a round of applause, let's welcome the players and the trainers. Here we go. Now, does anyone know what kind of dolphins these are? Because usually, if you've had the opportunity to meet a dolphin or see a dolphin up close, 9 times out of 10 it's usually a bottlenose, but no, it's a funny looking, no, because they're not bottlenose, they're what are known as Pacific white-sided dolphins. And yeah, they're found off our coastline here, quite rare, at least in terms of coastal areas. Also, even more rare to be able to work with these animals. But to tell us a little bit more about these two on the dock, ladies and gentlemen, it's Charlotte.
Thanks, Alex. Both of our dolphins are what we refer to as rescued and rehabilitated animals. They were both found entangled in fixed fishing nets off the coast of Japan and brought to a rehabilitation facility where they were deemed non-releasable. But luckily, we've been able to provide them with a permanent home here at the Wild Coast. Working with me today is the beautiful Helen. Helen's been here since 2005. And we've been able to build and maintain a trusting relationship with her in order to provide her with the best possible care through training and regular checkups. Everything that we learned in Helen's healthcare is used to help researchers and veterinarians to gain a better understanding of these mysterious dolphins. In fact, every day that we spend with them reveals more information about their species as well as their individual personalities, which, believe it or not, are just as different as you and I. But most of all, Helen and Hannah remind us every day that we still have a lot to learn about cetaceans.
Thank you, Charlotte. And yes, cetaceans is the umbrella term that's given to whales, dolphins, and porpoises. And we have a dolphin here, so let's learn about this one. And usually, as Charlotte mentioned, yeah, there's still a lot of questions, but we do know some things. We know the range of these animals are found. They're called Pacific white-sided dolphins because they're found in the Pacific Ocean. Somewhat surprisingly, the northern Pacific. The range extends from northern Mexico through our part of the world all the way over to Japan, but they're mostly an open water species of dolphins. There's only a couple areas you do see them on a somewhat regular basis in coastal areas. And normally, when you got questions, well, you do a little bit of research. And I'm curious, has anyone here ever wanted to be a dolphin researcher? Maybe even part-time. Because if you live here, or if you're visiting, you can be. If you happen to spot one of the 23 different kinds of cetaceans that we have off our coastline, you can submit your sighting, like a scientist, to a website. It's known as wildwhales.org. And you'll see the signs around the exhibit. Researchers want to know, where and when did you see what you think you just saw? And then that information is used to further our understanding of the 23 different cetacean species that we have. However, that's a lot to be able to tell apart. You may be thinking, I'm no whale expert, how do I know what I'm looking at? Well, we'll work with this one, we'll identify this one, and you can figure out the other 22 on your own. Because yeah, Pacific white-sided dolphin, you want to look at the color if you're trying to identify them. And not just the white sides, but overall, these particular animals have a type of camouflage. And a few ocean animals have this known as counter shading. White on the belly, darker on the backside. And if you're a fish underneath looking up, you may not notice the dolphin until you were eaten, because that white belly blends in with the sky. And likewise, if you're up top looking down, it is amazing how well they can camouflage with that dark side blending in with the bottom of the ocean. Apart from color, there is size. Helen and Hannah, they are adult Pacific white-sided dolphins. This is how big they get. Much smaller, different coloration than, say, a orca or a killer whale. They can get to be the size of a school bus. And much larger than, say, harbor porpoises. We've got 2 of them, Jack and Daisy, on the backside for comparison's sake. But the best way to identify them is, of course, to get a picture. So if we have any photographers here in the audience, you have been taking pictures already. Try and get a picture of it. Maybe not so much when they're tail walking, because that particular behavior is quite rare to actually catch. However, if you happen to catch one key part of their body, if you miss them while they're underwater, as long as you get their dorsal fin, that's actually all you need. Because they are as unique as our own fingertips. And the researchers that work with these animals, yeah, they're catalogs of individuals, just where they've been seen, who they've been seen with. So we are certainly adding to the information each and every day. However, something to mention, especially when talking photography, can you get too close to your subject matter if your subject matter is a cetacean? And unfortunately, yes, you can. Regulations here in Canada state you must maintain a distance of at least 100 meters from any cetacean found off our coastline. That's about 10 times the distance of this dock. And so Nikki will now run off the dock to show how far that actually is. No, she won't. Yeah, messing with her. However, it's also a little bit of a downer, because especially when you're in a small boat, you see one of these animals, like, gotta catch up with it. No, for their safety as well as for ours, we need to stay back. And we like to think that it can be enjoyed from a safe distance, even far away, because that's what a telephoto lens is for. And even if you can't see them, in a lot of cases you can hear them. Displays like that, breaches, they use this to communicate with each other over great distances. But they're also quite vocal. If you listen closely, every now and again on the wind here in Stanley Park, you can hear dolphins. A round of applause for the raspberry glowing dolphins. Very nice.
Non dava per averli.
Now it's a part of our programs here, showcasing the vocal nature of these animals, the energetic nature, because we know you've never seen them before. It's amazing, but our hope is that people will see and hear this outside of our four walls as well. And as Charlotte mentioned, these two, they are here and not outside our four walls because they're rescued and rehabilitated. Helen in particular. If you look at her pectoral fins as she comes up and out of the water, you may notice, wait a minute, they look slightly different. And yeah, it's because they were found in fishing nets and had to be partially removed because they were so badly damaged. So we have an opportunity, for one, to talk about their stories and the fact that time in the ocean was cut short because of garbage, people, and we need to make sure our garbage does not end up in the water with them. But also, do we have the opportunity to learn, to answer some of the questions that we have? And yeah, we do. A while ago we tried to answer how much food, how much energy do these animals need to be happy to stick around off our coastline? And that is a metabolic question. How many calories do they actually take? As we know, they're very acrobatic, very energetic, but they're also remarkably fast. And as they move through the ocean hunting, looking for food, looking for fish, we have to wonder, well, these are not couch potato behaviors. How much energy does this take? And to answer that question, we had to train these two to do something that would be very difficult to do with dolphins in the open ocean. We had to train them to stand still. It doesn't look terribly impressive. It's slightly boring. However, if you've ever worked with mammals before, they were raising a mammal that does not stand still when he wanted to. Yeah, it certainly proves challenging. However, once they're trained to station or stand still, we could ask them to do that inside a metabolic dome. Crux of numbers, finally in 2012, that last study finished, and not surprisingly, a really big number came at the other end. It takes about 15,000 calories per day just to be a dolphin off our coastline. And that's about 10 times the amount of food energy the average person needs. It's a big number, a big story, and one that would be tough to tell without these two. And of course, if we didn't have an audience to tell it to, well, what would be the point? And that's usually where we stick in. That the Aquarium is a non-profit dedicated to the conservation of marine life because, yeah, we're passionate about marine life, big and small. And we know the people that visit us do as well, and the people that see these animals are too. And it's because of passionate people, Wild Whales has been going for about 30, 40 years. 75,000 odd sightings of the cetaceans off our coastline, and we're very lucky to be the host site of wild whales here at the Aquarium. So, keep your eyes on the water, because we have some amazing neighbors. But we do need to end. We need to end on a high note. And also a little bit of a thank you, because if it wasn't for people coming to us in our doors, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So thanks so much for joining us. And Helen and Hannah from Pacific White-Sided Dolphins. Please keep watching the water, because yeah, we've got some amazing neighbors. Thanks so much.